We use the word universidad to talk about any post-high school education. Okay? So, you're at a community college, you are un estudiante de universidad. It used to work better when Utica College was Utica College, but now it's Utica University. But when it was Utica College, that is also La Universidad. And Syracuse University is La Universidad. Okay? So when people ask you, you know, oh yeah, you're a student, don't they? Like, you know, you can say en la universidad. I'm a college student, I'm a university student. Okay, número uno. Número dos. There is a word in Spanish. El colegio. Okay, now, oops, sorry. Wanted to make it feminine. All right, we have words that we call cognates that are words that are similar and mean the same thing in both languages, like oficina or hospital or taxi, okay, restaurante, all right? Then there are what we call false cognates. I like to refer to them as your fake friends. Colegio does not mean college, okay? Colegio, it depends on which Spanish-speaking country you're in. Colegio can refer to either a private school or strictly high school, like your secondary education, okay? So once again, it just depends on which country that you're in. So if someone says, oh yeah, yo voy al colegio, they're not saying that they're going to a college, they're literally just saying, I'm going to school, all right? But depending on where you are, which country you're in, all right, they're either saying, yeah, I go to a private school, or I'm going to high school, like I'm a high school student, okay? Now, unfortunately, some Spanish speakers here in the US will use the word colegio to mean college, and that is like 1,000% wrong. And so I always correct them. It's like, no, no es lo mismo, it's not the same. Okay, you know, colegio is what I went to like when I was 4, all right? Whereas here, this is universidad, okay? Now, there's another word. And it's la facultad. It kind of sounds like the word faculty, okay? Faculty is basically anyone who works at a college, like I'm faculty here at MVCC. But in Espanol, it does not mean that, okay? Once again, it is a fake friend, all right? It doesn't mean the staff, the teachers, okay? It means either the school of or department, depending on what you have, okay? Here at MVCC, we have departments, okay? Once you transfer, if you transfer to a bigger university or a bigger college, it's the School of Arts and Letters, it's the School of Sciences, the School of whatever, okay? And so when people ask me, okay, so what part of the college do you work in? Okay, la facultad de, and I hope I spelled that right, humanidades. Okay, what do you think humanidades in English? It is humanities, yeah. See, you have a fake friend and you have a real friend. Okay, so I'm in the humanities department. I'm part of the humanities department. Okay, so la facultad de humanidades. Okay, and while you can use the word clase for class, typically people will use the word curso or cursos. That means courses. All right, we're a bit more formal at the college level. All right. So like, you know, ¿qué cursos? What classes are you taking? Okay. And so looking at the different departments or looking at the different subjects or looking at the different cursos, okay, starting on page 30 at the top left, okay, La Facultad de Ciencias, we already know what facultad means, so let's just stick with, what do you think ciencias? They put a microscope there. Sí, science. Yeah, science or sciences, okay? So, some colleges put all of their sciences in just one department. Other colleges, like you only have the biological sciences, then you have the physical sciences, then you have like, you know, the other whatever sciences. So you know. And then I've been to one school where like chemistry had its own department, and that was it. Like, you know, and then biology had its own department. Like, you know, the other sciences were together, but since those were the biggest ones. Okay, moving on to the next building, okay, facultad, so the department of or the school of, lenguas extranjeras, and they put flags from different countries there. See, Ivy? Foreign languages, okay? Now, en español, we call them tongues, foreign tongues, but foreign languages, okay? Now, once again, MVCC is muy pequeño, is very small. So the languages are in the humanities, okay? But I've worked and I've been to and I've done whatever. Some schools have just the language department where all of the languages are their own facultad. And then I got my graduate degree at a school where Español was its own, like, that was it. That was the whole. Like, there was like 50 professors of just Español, okay? Yeah, it was a big one. It was in San Diego. I mean, it made sense. All right, so, you know, so yeah, okay? Moving on down un poquito. Educación, la Facultad de Educación. Education, yeah. Anybody here, Facultad de Educación? Yeah, usually I get the education majors because it is a requirement, all right, for your programa to take a language, okay? So, and gracias for choosing me over sign language. So those are your two big choices. I guess you could have done French, but, you know, Espanol. No, boo, oh, you're like, boo, no francés, all right? So, educación, okay? Now, move down un poquito. Here is another fake friend. Librería does not mean library. What is la librería? And there's a big sign there that says Libros de Texto. Bookstore, yeah. Okay, librería is bookstore. Okay, now, once again, sometimes you'll get speakers here in the US that will use the word librería for library. It's like, no. It's totally different thing. Okay, librería, you got to pay for them. Library, you can borrow them for free. Okay, now this one is normal. El gimnasio, the gym, the gymnasium. Okay, in Espanol we don't shorten it, so you can't just say el gym. You have to say el gimnasio. Okay, I know in English, the gym. I'm going to the gym. All right, you know, nobody says I'm going to the gymnasium, all right, type of thing, okay? Now, move down to the bottom, all right? This one is exactly like Inglés, la cafetería. Cafeteria, yes. The only difference between Inglés y Español is that Español has an accent mark on the I, all right? But it's like literally spelt the same, okay? Cafeteria, cafeteria. Okay, now, the next one, this one is a fake friend. Residencia does not mean residence. But if you look through the window, you see bunk beds, a desk, bunk beds, a desk, bunk beds, a desk, bunk beds, a desk. Where on campus? The dorms, yes. Okay, why is it called Residencia Santos? Because the official name of dorms is residence halls. Okay, and so it's just the fact that in English we've kind of done whatever, and it's like, oh, it's the dorms, okay, type of thing. But anybody here live in La Residencia? Oh, muchos. Okay. Usually I don't get that many. All right, so excelente. Okay, muy bien. Bueno or malo? Bueno, malo? You're like, halfway sometimes. No say. All right. I'm a unicorn, I guess, in the sense that I never lived in dorms, even as a freshman. Like the community college I went to was like literally a mile from my house, so I lived at home. And then when I transferred, I just lived in an apartment with guys that I knew, so I never dormed. So I literally have no clue what the experience is like. So, yay me! All right, so muy bien. Okay, now look to the right of La Residencia. Okay, Facultad de Ingeniería, and they have I always want to call it a protractor. It's not. It's a compass. They have a compass as the symbol. What do you think? And ingeniería, it's kind of like English, maybe? Engineering, yeah. Some schools have their own engineering department. Here we stick it with math and some of the sciences. It's STEM. All right, so science, technology, engineering, and math. Okay. Centro Estudiantil literally just means the student center. Okay. So we don't really have a dedicated one here. I mean, I suppose the lobby of AB could be a Centro Estudiantil. Some people use the cafeteria as the Centro Estudiantil. But like if you go over to Utica University, there's literally a building where there's couches and pool tables and TVs and stuff where you're like, wow. All right, I think SUNY Poly has one too, something similar where you can just kick back, relax, there's just like couches and, whatever, okay? Facultad de Derecho, this one I'm gonna give you. Derecho means law, okay? Now, at really big schools, yes, you do have a law school sometimes, okay? For something like MBCC, I suppose, criminal justice, all right? Now, sometimes students ask me, I thought derecho means right. No, that's derecha. You make it feminine and it becomes right. You leave it masculine, it either means law, it can also mean right, but like your civil rights, not right the direction, but, like the right to free speech and the right to freedom of religion and the right to assemble and things like that. So, feminine, direction, masculine, the things you can do under the law. Okay? Move up to the next page at the very top. Maybe you don't live at home anymore. Maybe you don't live in la residencia. El apartamento. What is el apartamento? Apartment. See. Anybody here live on their own with an apartamento? No apartamentos? Oh, wow, okay. Está bien. All right. All right, this one's really long for whatever reason. In Espanol, we like to make things hard. But you see a money sign, you see a graph. Administración de empresas, business. I know, in English, one short word or one medium word. In Espanol, 3 long-ass words. Administración de empresas. Okay, for business. Okay? I don't know what the globe's all about, but Facultad de Ciencias Sociales. What would Ciencias Sociales? Use your voice. Social sciences. Yes, the social sciences. Okay? Some places have social sciences as their own thing. Okay? What are social sciences? Psychology, sociology, economics, things like that. Those are the social sciences. Okay? This one does mean what it's supposed to mean. Oficina. Office. Okay. Now, typically, that could be like the administration office, like here, Payne Hall.
where, the registrar is, where you pay your bill, where you can schedule classes, where, you got all of that business office, whatever. And I suppose because up on the third floor, you do have the different department offices, the oficina, okay? My own little cubicle that I have, it's not a cubicle, but my own little space, that is also mi oficina, my office, okay? Ooh. Okay. We do not have this here. In fact, I think we only have one class that does this. Facultad de Periodismo, they're showing a newspaper in the picture. So what do you think periodismo? There's an actual word for it. Journalism. Sí, muy bien. We don't have a journalism program. Some schools do, all right? And especially if you go to a bigger college. I know Utica University, they have a journalism department, and students actually run the newspaper, and stuff like that, okay? La biblioteca. Library. That's the word for library. Biblioteca, okay? It actually comes from the Latin. Biblio means book, okay? So yeah, all right? Finally, la Facultad de Medicina. What is medicina? Medicine, yeah. Now, some schools, like Albany or Syracuse, have an actual medical school where people go to learn to be doctors. But remember, it's not just about the doctors, all right? There's also nursing, there's radiology, there's respiratory tech, there's, which we do have here at MBCC. We do have a nursing school, we do have a radiology program, we do have a respiratory therapy program, all of that. So I suppose if you're in one of those majors, you could talk about being in La Facultad de Medicina, because they do, here we call it health professions or health careers. I forget which one they're using this semester. But you if you are in nursing, or if you are in like the radiology program or whatever. Okay? So, if you go to the blue column, I'm not going to do them all, okay? Maybe some of the hard ones, like arte. What is arte? No, that one's not hard. Okay, yeah, literally just art. Okay. I also teach this historia. Okay. What is historia? Yeah. Some of you have had me for historia before, and then there's two of you that have me for historia right now also. Okay. Skip on down a few, or no, just skip on down two. Literatura. What would literatura? Literature. And we do have literature courses here in MBCC, Literatura Americana, American Lit, Literatura Mundial, World Lit, Literatura Británica, British Lit, okay, Literatura Infantil, Children's Lit, and I think that's it, I want to say, okay. The next one is Matemáticas. What is Matemáticas? Mathematics. Now, I only bring this one up because number one, I know it's everybody's favorite, but number two, en español, we do not shorten it. It's not just mat or mate, all right? You gotta say matemáticas. And yes, there are words for the individual maths, okay? If you really want to know them, look it up yourself. Cálculo, geometría, algebra, whatever. If you want to know, you want to know, okay? And I'll tell you. No, you don't have to look it up, but you can look it up, okay? Please, por favor, do not confuse these. Psicología is psychology. Sociología is sociology. A lot of students will confuse them because in Espanol we have gotten rid of the silent P, okay? And so, psico and socio look the same. Oh, there's no P, it must be sociology. Well, no, one of them is psych, okay? And then, anybody here is teatro? What is teatro? Theater. I always get at least one theater person, all right? Maybe not this semester, I didn't luck out. All right, so teatro, theater, Okay, and in this case, we're not talking about like a movie theater, but like theater, like stage and plays and performing and stuff like that. Okay, then they focus specifically on the foreign languages because obviously this is a language class. Okay, so now just so you know, and maybe you've noticed by now, when it comes to languages, when it comes to classes, in Espanol, we do not capitalize them. Okay? Everything is lowercase. That is not a typo. I realize that in English, everything is capitalized. If you capitalize it, that I won't take points off. All right? Because even I forget. Even English gets up here and, I'll capitalize teatro. I'll put a capital T. All right? But yeah. So, Alemán. All right? Alemán is German. We used to offer Alemán. Okay? Chino is Chinese. We do offer it every other year, usually, El Chino, okay? Español, lo mejor, all right? You're in the best class. Francés, we typically only have Francés uno. There's never enough students for Francés dos, all right? So Francés. Inglés, which I hope y'all are okay with, see, Inglés. All right, yeah. Okay. English. Italiano. A lot of you maybe speak Italiano or have an Italiano grandparent who speaks Italiano, or you're like, nope, sorry. All right. No, I know not the Irish kid over there, but no Italiano. Okay. Well, with a name like Young Mason, I don't think you have an Italian grandma. Haydn, no? Okay. But they are Catholic. Okay. Japonés, Japanese. Okay. We do offer Japonés when we don't offer Chino. We rotate those. Okay. So on occasion there will be a Japonés class. There is no Portugués here. Lo siento, Portugués. And finally, el ruso, Russian. Okay, every now and then I get a Russian student, so el ruso. Okay, preguntas. Then turn the page. We've got un poquito más. Okay. Now, actually, on page 33, 33. Okay. They do break up some of the sciences. Like I said, typically, and it doesn't matter which college you're at, and even if it's big or small, biología, biology, sometimes, there's always a lot of biology classes, and typically if a science is going to have its own department, it's going to be biología. And then the very, very last one, la química. It's kind of the same thing. A lot of colleges have a lot of chemistry classes, and if it's like another department that's going to be on its own, then it will be química. All right. Any of you de vosotros have clase de biología o de química this semester? No biología, no química. Any ciencia?
Earth science.
Okay. Earth science? Geología. Muy bien. Okay, muy bien. All right. Some of you who are taking either Administración de Empresas, business, or it is also its own major here, Contabilidad, accounting. Okay, and we get that word from contar, which literally means to count, just like accounting also comes from the word to count. Okay. Oh, I almost forgot the other science. All right. Física, physics. All right. We do have a pretty extensive Facultad de Física here. All right. Although all those sciences are all clumped together in one department. Anyone here taking Física? Should I even ask? No Física. Okay. Now, the funny thing about Español is that Física by itself means physics. The science, la ciencia. Oh, hello. No me gusta. Because that's the problem. Okay. But What do you think educación física is? Yeah, PE, all right, physical education, all right? So we use the same word for physics and physical, all right, type of thing. It involves motion and movement, okay? It gets back to the actual root, okay, en español. I don't know about English, okay? So, now, finally, okay, and then I'm gonna shut up and we'll do one quick practice, okay? If you look at page 32, okay, I know we say that we're in clase de español and that I am teaching you español, all right? And I may have mentioned this before. I'm not actually speaking español cuando yo hablo de esta manera. Esto no es español. That's not its real name. I'm actually teaching you Castellano, or in English, Castilian, okay? Porque, why do we call it Español? What country does it come from? Spain, España, okay? Within Spain, within España, there are about 4 or 5 other languages that have just as a valid claim to be called Español. There's Catalan, there's Gallego, Galician, there's Aragonese, there's Leonese, okay? There's a couple other ones, all right? But the one that made it out and the one that the explorers and conquistadors that went to the Americas spoke was Castilian, was Castellano, okay? And then eventually Salud, over time, it became the dominant language in Spain. But if you go there now, if you go to like Barcelona, most people there speak Catalan, which I can understand and I can read it. I can't speak it, all right? I've met soccer players from Spain who are from Valencia, and they speak Valenciano, Valencian. Which that is almost unintelligible to me. I can catch a few words, all right? And I'm like, no, lo siento, castellano, por favor, speaking Castilian, type of thing. There's another language that in English we call Basque. In Spanish, it's called Euskera, which I can catch 3 or 4 words total. Most of it is once again, also undecipherable, all right? So in some places, okay, people will call it Castellano, okay? Or, you know, when I lived in Argentina, people were like, no, we don't speak Español. Aquí es Castellano, all right? No es Español. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll get used to it, okay, type of thing. So, okay, it's all a lie. I'm not teaching you Spanish. I'm teaching you Castilian, okay? But that's okay, all right? It's what the whole world thinks of as Spanish, Español, okay? Go to 1-14, 1-14, and we will finish off with this for today, okay? ¿Qué es una clase? What is one class you would have to take if you want to do this when you grow up, okay? So número 1, if you want to be an economist, if you want to, work with the economy, what is una clase? Número 2, I hope I don't have to translate actor. If you want to be an actor when you grow up, what's one class you should take? Okay. Number 3, if you want to be a psychologist, if you want